quick with you. All right. Okay, so can you tell me in the chat, everybody, how many of you are seniors? You type in the chat and tell me if you're a senior or not, going to graduate here pretty soon. Okay, so we got one here that says they're a senior. Okay, oh, a couple others. Okay, very good. And you're looking to graduate, right? So there's a couple things that they've asked me to do with the seniors, and that is that we zero out your grade book. Okay, so I've already went in, and you may be getting like an F right now. Don't fret on that. Just basically what the reason is that you have only about, I'd say, a week and a half. They say till the 17th. So I guess that's about 3 weeks to finish up the course, okay? I also exempted the seniors, so sorry everybody else, from lessons 13, 14, and 15, okay? So that's the last day of class, the 17th, for all of the seniors. So I need to have, or at least the last day. I think the last day they said everybody could turn anything in as a senior is the 19th, Sunday the 19th. So make sure that you have everything in, because I have to submit grades, and then they have to get all the stuff ready for graduation. Okay? All right, we have some other things. So let's go back to Blackboard. We will. Next class we'll go back to Blackboard. How's that? I kind of like the Zoom room. I think it's easier for me to use on my end. So, and I get to hear some of you guys sometime in the background. Not for you guys? Guess what? I'll show you how it would be easier using Zoom, because I actually use Zoom quite a bit for different meetings and stuff. Go to Lagoon or something like that and use it on your phone, and just pretend you're in class while you're on your phone. Right? That's not a bad gig. Or you could use it as, you're out doing something. I think it's a little bit easier that way, because there's a little app and stuff like that. But anyways, that's all right. If you don't like it, well, we're going to switch back and forth, but I think we're going to go back to Blackboard next lesson for you there. Last time when we did our little pool, a lot of people said they still liked it, but not a big deal. Okay, well, let's okay, any questions on what needs to be done and stuff like that? Okay, so today is the 30th. So right here. So this week you need to get done with all of your lesson 1 quizzes, all your lesson 9 quizzes, and then the next week is lesson 10, lesson 11, and then lesson 12 would be the last one seniors have to do. And then 13, 14, 15, the rest of the class, okay? Pretty good there. All right, so let's flip here, and we're going to talk about, somebody asked what we're going to be doing today. Oops, something happened. Okay. We are going to actually be going over, how do I do the slideshow? Oh, present. Present. I saw the present button somewhere. Oh, there we go. We're going to be talking about 2 things that some people find really boring. I'm sorry if you find that boring. But we need to know about them. One is investments, okay? So, does anybody know any type of investment? Why don't you put that on the chat real quick? Do you know a type of investment? We already went through the pacing. What's a type of investment? Okay, bank. Okay, so we talked about putting money into a bank, right? And it gains a little interest, so that could be somewhat of an investment, but I wouldn't really say that's a big investment, okay? Any other thoughts there? Stocks. Okay. So stocks are buying like individualized pieces of a company, and you're hoping that company is going to start gaining money, and then you're going to gain money with it. Okay, your stock value is going to rise and you're going to gain money. Okay, so very good. Anything else? What about a classic car? Would a classic car, buying a classic car, be an investment? Any thoughts? What a classic car. I love my old like Shelby Mustangs, Camaros. Any thoughts? For those that were thinking it is actually an investment. It's not the greatest investment, but it is. What about buying a house? Is buying a house an investment? All right, cool, yeah, definitely. So real estate's actually a big investment. So you're paying down a mortgage, right? But your home value is most likely going to go up in most cases, as long as the economy's good. Okay, I think we're all aware of a little bit of the 2008 debacle where everything went down and home values went down. But most of the time, your home value is going to go up. So you're going to gain what they call equity in the home, which is like investment, okay? All right, so here are some other types of investments: stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate. We talked about that. Savings and certificate deposits. So banking is, yeah, and then also collectibles. So you could even think of like baseball cards. If you have like Michael Jordan's rookie card, that's kind of a good one. Collectibles like cars that we were talking about, old Camaros, that kind of stuff. So we already talked a little bit about a stock. Okay, a stock is a little piece of the company that you buy, and so I do that quite a bit. I kind of look on the stock thing and buy some stocks every once in a while. You can buy some. I mean, I've seen them all the way as cheap as, you know, a couple cents for a stock, all the way up to I think Amazon's at about $1,500 or $1,800 for one stock in Amazon. So they kind of vary quite a bit there. Okay, so how well the stock market is doing overall. So there is quite a few different things that we're looking at when we're looking at the stock market. Okay, they have different. What they do is they take different companies, big companies together, and they try to see what the stocks are doing. Okay, are they going up? Are they going down? So some of these big things that show indicators of how the country is doing, right? For growth and stuff like that. They look at the Dow Jones. You may have heard of that. You may have heard of the S&P 500. Also the NASDAQ. Those are just indicators of how it is. So if you hear that the stock market's down, they're probably looking at one of these three indicators that they're all going down, okay? Which basically means that a lot of companies and everything are not making money right then, and it's maybe not a very good time to invest. So you basically have ups and downs. So if you have an up market, okay, if it's going up, they call it a bull market. That means that everybody's making money, everybody's happy. 401ks are going up, which we'll talk about. That's a different investment thing. That kind of stuff. And there's also the term bear market, where basically the market's doing very poorly. So it's just like it sounds. You got the bull market, like a bull, and then also the bear market. So purchasing stocks, you can do a couple ways. You can either buy them individually. So right now, I can just buy them on an app on my phone, and that's what I do. So if you're ever interested in that, I can tell you how you can purchase it yourself, and that's pretty cool. But it is linked through usually a brokerage or a broker, and that person gets like a commission off the stocks, and they brokers, usually you're investing like hundreds of thousands of dollars to them, and they're putting it in certain stocks, and they give you advice and what to do. And they take like a commission on how much you put in and you make. So, there's different kind of what's called exchanges, okay? So, like, I think I buy most of my stocks on like the S&P 500, but there's also a different thing called the New York Stock Exchange. So, a company that wants to go what's called public and go so they can have other people buy their stocks, they need to go on a certain exchange, okay? And different countries have different exchanges too. But some of the big ones in the United States are the New York Stock Exchange, okay? And here's some kind of things on there, like the average price of the stock on the New York Stock Exchange is $33. There's requirements for being in there. So the exchanges are good because, for example, there's this company that came in, and I think they actually got into the S&P. Well, no, it was the New York Stock Exchange, I think. They got into the New York Stock Exchange, and then they basically ramped up what their price was going to be, and all their people sold, and then they went bankrupt the next day. So it's to help protect people, these exchanges, to make sure that, you know, there's legitimate stocks there. There's also the American Stock Exchange. In there's the regional exchanges, and then the NASDAQ, which is a big one. Okay, so another thing that you can do is you can purchase what's called bonds. Okay, bonds are pieces of like loans that countries are lending out. Okay, so you could buy like a U.S. bond, and the U.S. bond basically has a fixed interest, so it pays you money each month for giving that money to the government as kind of like a loan, and then you can just collect that interest over time. So that's what a bond is. There's also a mutual fund. So mutual funds are usually the ones that are more not as risky. So what people do is a lot of people get together, right? And these brokers put their money together into this big pool of money. And then the really smart people, which isn't me investing stocks, I know, because I lose money all the time. They put it into different areas, and then they all make money kind of together as the mutual fund. Okay, we also talked about real estate. So owning land, owning your own house, owning rentals. You can generate profit that way and money in the long term. And then also, this one doesn't get a lot of return back, which means you don't get a lot of money for doing it. But just putting your money in a savings or what's called a CD, the longer time that you have it in that area, the more money you're going to get that way. Some other things that aren't as really good investments, I would say, but they are investments. Artwork. So, especially from highly reputable artists, some modern art and some very old art, they're going to go up in value. Baseball trading cards, basketball trading cards, coins. I don't know if you have anybody collect old coins out there. I used to collect old coins. I thought it was fun. So if you have certain coins. Oh, your dad does? Very good. Yeah, so coins, collecting coins can be a way to have collectibles and stuff like that. Also, automobiles, as I said before, like classic automobiles. And then also antiques are all things. Okay, let's go to the next one here. So if we talk about risk and return, so basically, let me go to the right thing here. So some things are more risky than others, okay? So, oh, Nate says there's dad collects you collect foreign money. Yep, and that's good too. Like foreign, another investment that some people do is they put it in different currencies, and so they'll instead of using US dollars, they'll put it like in euros, or they'll put it in British pounds or something like that, thinking that that will go up. No, you're good. But as you can see, this little chart tells you what is the less risky out of all of these different things, okay? So the bottom of the pyramid here, so you got like treasury issues, US savings bonds, certificates, those kind of things. They are not very risky. You also have mutual funds that are pretty good. And then you also, if you go up to the very top, like collectibles, I said is very good. Penny stocks, which is basically what I do on my phone, is I buy penny stocks. It's really high risk, so I could basically lose a lot of my money that I put into it. Also, what's called commodities. My father-in-law actually deals in buying and purchasing a lot of commodities, but you have a huge chance of losing your money in your investment. So you want to look at investment because your biggest thing is you want to have enough money when you can't or do not want to work anymore. And so you got to have like short-term investments, and you also have to have long-term investments moving forward. Okay, we're not going to talk about short selling or just diversification, the last one that we looked at here. That's basically don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? So for example, I don't know if you guys know what cryptocurrency is. So it's kind of a big thing. You can still make some money off of it, but it's really, really risky. It'd be like at the very, very top. If you put all your money in cryptocurrency and then it just shoots down, you've lost all your money, right? So you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket there. Okay, we're going to skip this real quick. Okay, so there's government regulations to help you out. Make sure that people aren't stealing your stuff. We're going to have a lesson here shortly on fraud and how people have frauded people out of money. But these are some places that help that not do that. So the U.S. Congress, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the New York Stock Exchange, and other of those things, and then individual brokers and firms have their own things to help people not take their money. There's been a lot of people out there that will say, hey, come invest with me, and they'll take the money, and then they'll give the money to somebody else, so they'll invest more money, and they'll give some money back. Pretty soon, they don't have enough money to circulate, and they've taken a whole percentage or cut out of it, and then you just lost your money. So not too good, not too good. Okay, let's talk about insurance, okay, and basically risk management. So you probably heard all of those commercials on TV all the time, right? Like Geico, that's a big one, right? State Farm, Allstate, that kind of stuff. So tell me, why do we need insurance? Anybody know why we need insurance? Is it just they want to take your money? Okay, for coverage in case of an accident. Yeah, okay. All right, so here's the thing. Like, let's say I got really sick. Okay, somebody said mayhem. Yeah, like me. I like it. So if I were to get in an accident, okay, or if I were to get sick, and I have to spend all of this money out, I could pretty soon be bankrupt. I could have lost all the money that I've been working so hard for, right? Well, what insurance does is it takes money from everybody and it kind of pulls it together in this pool. And then when somebody has an accident or they're sick or something like that, it pays out money to help them so they don't lose all of their assets or their money that they've gained, okay? So that's what insurance is for. Okay, so here's a question for you. Okay, let's have you put this in the chat. The number of insurance claims for automobile accidents involving teens is blank % higher than those of adults. What are you guys thinking there? Give me a percentage there. How much higher up? Okay, so got a couple people that say 20 already. How much higher? No other guesses? Come on, you gotta have some. Alright, let's see here. Okay, and then teens crash at a rate at how much more? Let's see what that... Is it not going to tell me the answer? What? I don't know what's going on here. It should tell me the answer. And now I'm like lost here. Oh well, we could guess. We all know that teen drivers are higher on there. But here's an example, okay? Could you pay the damage in a car wreck, okay? So how many people out there have their license and drive a car? Okay, somebody wishes. Okay, so we got one of them. Very good. If you were to get in a wreck, yeah, it's a doctor. Okay, no, that's okay. So if you were to get in a wreck, so here's an example. My wife was backing out of our driveway, and my niece's car was there, and she backed out and she hit her car. Okay, they weren't going very fast, didn't do very much. It caused $1,200 worth of damage to my niece's car, and also it caused like $800 to our car. So $2,000 for just a little tiny accident, okay? So how many people have $2,000 right now in the bank that you could go and just say, hey, you know, I'll just fix the car, right? And that's just a little tiny accident. And I'm sure you've seen a lot bigger accidents out there, okay? Somebody says I barely have $1. Yeah, so that's why we purchase insurance, okay? And we pay a little bit each month to basically so we don't have to pay out that huge amount if it ever happens. So let's kind of roll through this a little bit. A couple things here. My computer's being slow. Sorry, I'm probably running way too many things on it at once. Like Zoom and Blackboard and all these other things. Okay, I want to just talk about the different insurances. If it will let me. This is not being friendly to me right now. Okay. All right. Oh, this is what I wanted. Okay. So different types of insurances that we have. Okay. So we already talked about automobile insurance, right? That's the one you see on advertised on TV all the time. Oh, you know, Mayhem, right? Or your good neighbor or whatever, right? So automobile insurance, okay, just in case that. We have health insurance, okay? So if you were to get really sick and have to go to the doctor, it's expensive. That includes maybe like dental insurance and stuff like that. So I didn't have dental insurance this year, and then my kids went to the dentist, and wow, I wish I had dental insurance, right? They had way too many cavities. That's what they do. They eat candy all day. You also have disability insurance. So if you were unable to work, something happened that became disabled, you'll be able to do that. Homeowners insurance, okay? If your home were to burn down or somebody were to, you know, come in and steal your items out of your house, you'd have coverage for that, right? It's not like you can replace everything you have. Also life insurance, okay? So, for example, I think it's more important for me or whatever, or anybody, basically to have a little bit of life insurance. The cost of a funeral these days is like $8,000 to $12,000 to $15,000, okay? So, if we were to, you know, pass away or something like that, like, it would cost a lot of money to be able to just put us in the ground, right? Or cremate us or however. I don't want to be like, yeah. Anyways, it just costs money. So if you pay a little bit each month for life insurance, which isn't very expensive, there's money there to cover those expenses. For my case, like it would pay off my house. It would give my wife income for a while so she can, if she had to get a job or whatever, stay on their feet, send my kids to college, that kind of stuff, okay? Things I couldn't do if I were just to all of a sudden pass away. Okay, so automobile insurance, we already talked about that a little bit. There's different coverages on there. And once you get like an automobile policy, your insurance agents should sit down and talk to you about what all those coverages are. If you get a ticket, right, your automobile policy is going to go up because you're a higher risk, okay? The younger you are, okay, that's why 16-year-olds are so expensive to put on there. Okay, we already know health insurance is always about being sick, being able to do that. Sometimes they make you pay what's called a copay. So much money you have to pay the doctor, and then the insurance will cover the rest of it. And there's also the deductible too, which you pay out so much out of pocket before the insurance pays out. And that's so you won't file claims all the time. Property, we talked about life insurance, and that really gets us to kind of like the end of where we're going to be. So, all right. Let me hit it back here real quick just in case anybody missed it from the very beginning. So a couple things. If you are a senior, one more time, if you're a senior, the last day you have to turn anything in is the 19th. So you basically have like 3 weeks and you're done with this class. You're done with school, right? If you're a senior. And you get your diploma, and I'll see you at graduation, okay? For the rest of you, just keep pace. I would, if I was a senior, I would just hurry and just get the rest of it done. I'm only having you go to lesson 12 if you're a senior, so hurry and just run through that, get it all done, you'll be good to go, okay? All right, okay, so